Okay. Okay. A very glad welcome to you all. Actually, in this session, we're going to see about the continuation of strategic management. There is no doubt, but I really want to emphasize one thing. Okay. So whenever we're studying about the strategic management, don't get too much bogged down by the vocabulary it is using to express a certain thought process. Because if you get too bogged down by the vocabulary, then you will miss out the interesting things that the subject is ready to offer you. Because deep inside those vocabularies, or deep inside those lengthy paragraph, okay, there is a hidden treasure, and that treasure is nothing but the living example of so many companies, okay, and their success formula, their revenue model, okay, and their business model, and how they thrive in the business. And despite COVID situation, there are many companies, okay, whose valuation has exceeded $1 billion. So when you see strategic management as a paper, okay, whether it is from the examination point of view, or you see it from as a subject point of view, you should not get too much clogged down, or you should not get too much clogged with those lengthy paragraphs, or with those lengthy theoretical explanation of everything that they're giving you. Make sure that you just scan through the text, or scan through your book, okay, and then you have to really find out at the end of the page, at the end of every page, what is that they're really trying to emphasize. Because every book is written by an author, okay. So even if I become an author, then what I'll do is I'll try to communicate what I really want the reader to what I really want the reader to understand, to appreciate, okay, to enjoy. Which means every book is written based on a single motive, that to make the reader understand, appreciate, and to make it a useful, to make it as a useful value addition. Which means, to put it in a very simple way, even the strategic management book must have been written, okay, by keeping one thing in mind, that the students must understand the importance of strategy and the strategical position that every company wants to make in the marketplace. And the author, or the subject as a whole, wants to emphasize the importance of it. And they also want to emphasize that how importance does it possess in the life of a business, in the life of a company. A company may be becoming a unicorn business. Like, what's a unicorn? A unicorn is a privately or closely held company whose valuation is more than $1 billion. Which means a company may become a unicorn, or it may become a very big failure. It all depends upon the strategical thinking, or positioning of themselves in the market in different many features and different other features. But what is that I want to underscore here? I want to underscore that don't clogged by those words in the books, which keeps repeating itself, because the words are repeated, the lines are repeated, the paragraphs are repeated sometimes, and then you finally fed up because you really don't understand, because 1,000 words are being given, and then underneath the 1,000 words there is a hidden treasure, and that treasure is a concept of strategic management. So we'll have to dive into the book, and we have to find out what is the real intention and what is the real hidden treasure behind this book. Okay, so here we are trying to simplify the complete section. That is, for every page there is only few lines that make sense. Okay, for example, if you have 30 lines, out of 30 lines there are 3 critically important lines. Okay, that is so how do you call it? It is incredibly important for your examination. It is incredibly important for giving you some value addition. But the other 27 lines are trying to impress you by giving some add-on facts upon those 3 lines. For example, 3 lines are most important, and all the 27 lines are as a decoration article for those 3 lines. But what is so important for a student? The most important thing for a student is that to find those 3 lines and to differentiate the 3 lines from the other 27 lines, so as to make an important feat. What is your feat? Your feat has to be FEAT. Okay, what is your feat? Your feat is to find those 3 lines. You have to read every page, and you have to make only 3 lines as most important out of the 30 or 40 lines, whatever. If you are able to make that precision of making the most important, because do you know what is the what is the job of an editor? Because whenever they say, okay, he is the script writer, okay, he is the maker of the film, and he is the editor of the film, you know, when I was in my childhood or in my early, you know, adulthood, I always thought that the job of an editor was very easy because it's just cut, you know, it is just cutting the pieces that he thinks wouldn't fit the whole script, and that is what he is probably doing. Okay, and I thought the job of a director, the job of a script writer is more important, or it's most important. That is what I always thought, because when it comes to do you know Anthony as an editor, or do you know Gautam Vasudeva Menon, who is the director of the film? So it is always like that. Who comes to the limelight, who comes to the spotlight is always director of a film. But when it comes to editor of a film, we always he's always been overshadowed by other people. But when it comes to actually taking classes and to give you the most important three critical lines of a page, I usually sit with a page and I really want to look out for all the lines, and I want to really pick out one or two lines that's most important in that page. And do you know what happens? At the end of the day, okay, I sit with the PDF file with all the lines in a particular page, and I try to copy it and paste it in a Word file. And then what I do is I try to cut out all the unwanted lines. That is all the 27 lines. I want to cut it off, and I really want to end up with the 3 lines. But do you know what happens every time I sit with that notion? I end up keeping with me all the 30 lines, because after growing some love for the subject, if I read all the 30 lines, it seems to me like every word or all the 30 lines seems to be so important to me that I really am not able to cut those 27 lines. That happens literally for every class, not just for the theoretical paper, or not just for the sum paper, even for economics when we sit, okay, when I try to remove or edit out the I wouldn't say it is unimportant, I would say there is much more important lines that people or students have to keep it in their mind, right? So to facilitate the most important 3 lines, I always have to take out the 27 lines, okay. But taking out the 27 lines, I say, figuring out what are the 3 most important lines is very easier. That is not at all a problem. But to just edit out all the 27 lines, it's like killing a soul. Okay, because every word has a soul, every line has a soul, and every paragraph is trying to light up some vibration, light up some good vibe about some knowledge. Yes, because we're talking about strategy, and about strategy there are 4 to 5 definitions. And I at the end of the day, I want to read all the definitions, I want to learn every definition, but then whether I'll be remembering all the 5 definitions in the examination hall, that's the different question. See, please don't see everything from the examination point of view, or please don't see everything from whether will I be able to get marks, whether will I be able to reproduce every line that I read. No, that is not the sense of learning. Sense of learning should always come from, like, if you have 5 different definitions for a strategy, then I would like to read in all the definitions, because I love everything, because every definition of strategy has one peculiar fact or one unique fact about it. Okay, so I can take 5 different unique features from 5 different definitions. Okay, but it is not the way that it goes for examination, because in examination, when you're asked to explain strategy, you have to pick 1 out of 5, and you have to portray it, or you have to represent it, or you have to write it. Yes, so at the end of the day, you can't take the role of editor to be easier when compared to the director, because director is like writer is a person who wants to just write on whatever he feels like with the flow of the script. Okay, there's an English movie, the name of the movie I'll quote it in the next class, I've forgotten completely, but there is a movie there the hero is being given an abundance of creativity, abundance of creative writing skills. What he does is, if he starts writing, he doesn't know whether it's a day or night. He keeps on writing, and the creative thoughts, it flows like a river to him, and he keeps on writing. And at the end of the day, he has 1,800 pages for a script. Do you know what he does? He writes every frame, every little detail, about the climate of the frame, okay, of the scene, of the rainfall, and he describes the rainfall for half a page, and then he describes the entry of the character for half a page, which means at the end of the day, He has 1,800 pages for a story. And there is one person, okay, he is the chief editor, and what he does is he reads all the 1,800 pages, and then he has to take out the pages that is not going to be forming part of the book publishing. Okay, they have to publish a book. Okay, for the author, the book has to be published, but you can't publish a book with 1,800 pages. And readers are not like always, they are not like nerds who wants to read how a rainfall looks like in the scene. Okay, how is the sunset? Is it more of orange or more of red or more of yellow? See, the creative thought that passes through a creative, abundant fellow, he'll write like a river. But you can't take the river of 1,800 pages to read about a story. It has to be it has to be it has to be redefined, it has to be refined, okay, it has to be fine tuned, it has to be well structured in a manner so as to turn about within 300 pages you have to finish the story. So the work of an editor has to cut down the 1,500 pages out of that 1,800 pages of original script. So I feel that the work of the editor is more cruel, because here 1,500 pages of creativity, 1,500 pages of description of the nature, description of the character, description of every minute detail about the frame, you have to cut it out and you have to keep the most important things, and that is what we're trying to keep here. And I would really like to tell you that if you have an aversion towards theory subject, please change that, or please try to look at it from a different perspective, because a theory subject is trying to impress you. It's trying to impress you. It's trying to tell you. It tries to tell you its feeling or its knowledge or what it tries to communicate, to you, and it has no numbers to represent its feelings. So it has to emote, or it has to emulate its feelings only through words. So when words are being put into when words are being stitched together and you are being given a book with 300 pages full of words, what you end up with is some kind of frustration, because it is all with so much of brandish English words which doesn't make any sense at all at the end of the day. Because one point is that we are not so familiar with the business English, okay, or we are not so familiar with the brandish terms that they use in the business etiquette and all that. Number two, when we are posed with so many unfamiliar words, we get lost, because we at the end of the day we really do not know what is the crux of the book, because we have always been practiced in a fashion where we've always had a simple life, because when we were doing the schooling or we were doing the college, every time we go through a very crucial situation, our teachers would say, okay, I'll simplify this for you, you just read this is a simplified notes, okay, just read the notes, you don't have to go through the book. This is what we've been handed down years and years together, okay, we've been handed down this kind of practice. I'll make it simpler for you, I'll make it simple for you. Making it simple or making it simpler, that's not the big deal here. The big deal is that, first of all, make yourself familiar with the brandish words. Because, for example, they're talking about the proactive strategy or reactive strategy. They're talking about the uncertainty, okay, unanticipated. What's the common word for unanticipated or uncertain? It is about unexpected. You have never expected that to happen, but then it happened. So, if you were asked to express your disappointment upon a happening which you never expected in the first place, how would you say, oh my God, it's such a disappointment, I never expected that? This would be your communication. This would be the way how you communicate it. But then the author of a business a business book writer, he wouldn't do that. What he would say is, he would use the word unanticipated, uncertain. Okay, so it is all in the usage of words. So the first block that we have in our mind, okay, the first block that we will have in our mind is the unfamiliarity with the words that's being used in the book. That's the first problem. Once these words become very familiar to you, then understanding the thought process of the author becomes easier, because these unfamiliar words is making a blockage. Beyond these words, you can't look enough of the concept that's been given by the author. It's not the fault of the author because it is the business standard to express the business communication in a certain style and in a certain font and in a certain way or vocabulary. So this is business vocabulary. You cannot discard the business vocabulary and say no, I will use unexpected. I will not use unanticipated or completely uncertain. Okay, which means or unanticipated or whatever. Okay, so what happens here is that you have to learn to become familiar with the brandish business vocabulary. Once you become very comfortable with the words the author uses, it becomes very, very, very easier for us to detangle the words and then to find what is hidden behind the words, and there's nothing but the real concept that the author wants to give, what author wants to give to us. Okay, he wants to give that to us, but then he cannot discard these words and put it in a very simple fashion and give the concept to you in 3 lines. No, that's not going to happen. If you want to be a queen, you have to take the responsibilities, not just the rights of the queen. If you want to become a chartered accountant, if you want to become a professional, then try to become a professional, not just by winning or not just by passing the examination, also by grooming yourself in the business vocabulary, in your business communication skills as well. And that's why in your foundation level, you're already, exposed to a subject called as business correspondence, or as you may easily call it as, English. Here, the strategic management, okay, this paper is again, it is a hidden treasure for us. Here we are going to learn a lot of business prospects. Here we're going to learn a lot about the business and revenue model of so many companies, successful companies, and we're also going to go through many important factors that you as a professional should know when you are dealing with your clients in future. If you're going to deal with your clients and your client is IRCTC, for example, your client is IRCTC, then IRCTC has a board meeting and you're supposed to attend the board meeting as a chartered accountant of the company. Now you will be posed with the question whether IRCTC, okay, whether it is just the Indian government, whether it is government of India, or is it a company? Now here you're faced with a dilemma. Half the time you end up with the answer, no, it's government of India, because Indian Railways is being run by government of India. So IRCTC is only government. It is only held by government. But now whether it's a public limited company or it is institution like LIC, or is it an institution, or is it an institution like CA Institute, ICAI, okay, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, was formed, okay, under the Parliament, which means CA Institute is also an embodiment of government organization, and IRCTC, if you think it is a government embodiment, then you're wrong, because it's a public limited company. Do you understand? Major shareholding in IRCTC is held by government. So if you want to go and sit into the board member, if you want to be a board member of IRCTC, or if you want to be a chartered accountant, or if you want to be an auditor of that, then definitely you need to have some basic skills, basic business knowledge, or basic, I would say basic business manners, in order to know the ins and outs of, or the nooks and corners of every business proposal or every business activity that is happening around you, because you are going to be a full grown professional. After you become a fully grown professional, you have to deal with many companies, and certain companies, okay, for example, you take PhonePe is a company, okay. What are they actually doing? It is a UPI, it has UPI interface, it's an app, it's a wallet, okay, you can have it in your mobile phone, it's your mobile wallet. What PhonePe offers you, okay, what is the business model of PhonePe? For example, if you have PhonePe in your mobile, then automatically with your phone number, you can connect your PhonePe with that of your bank accounts. And using that, you can do the online transactions. Do you understand? But how is PhonePe different from Flipkart? Or how is PhonePe different from Walmart? Do you know these three companies are connected? Because Walmart is the mother, or I would say it is the parent company of Flipkart, and Walmart is the parent company of PhonePe also, which means this Walmart, Flipkart and the PhonePe, these three are interconnected. But nowhere out in the world, okay, the Walmart's promoter comes and shouts that PhonePe is mine. No, nobody shouts that. All we know is PhonePe is purple logo. PhonePe has a purple logo, okay, and it has PE for pay. It is not having PAY, PE. Okay, it is a PE. Why is that? They did not keep. See, as in Google Pay has GPay, PAY, but Bharat Pay and Phone Pay has PE. Why? Because they are so attached with Hindi. They are so attached with North India, and that is why they have the Bharat Pay and Phone Pay has PE. Do you understand? So there are so many things that you literally have to learn in this journey with me. Okay, it is not just about reading it, mugging it, and then reproducing it out in the paper. No, it's not that. We have much more things to do, and those things we learn parallelly. We learn side by side. We'll be learning that, but our most important focus is to concentrate on what is critically important for examination. For critically preparing for the examination, in examination, these are the words you should never leave out. These are the lines you should never leave out. These are the words you should never go out. You should never discard. These are the words you should know, without which you cannot write the answers that would emanate from this paper, that would emanate from this chapter. From chapter 1, if a question is being asked, without knowing these 20 or 30 words, you will never be able to write an answer. So be sure, be very, very, very specific to learn all these 20 words. So that is what our training is going to go by. Okay. So first, okay. So now I have in front of you, okay, you have a screen, and the screen tells you in large organizations, strategies are formulated at the corporate level, divisional level, and functional levels. Do you find that it's corporate level, divisional level, and functional level? And I want to add one more thing here. Instead of divisional, just note that it can also be called as business level. Business level. Oh yes, business level. Okay. First of all, let us understand what are the three models or what are the three levels of business. Level 1 business is corporate level, where only Mukesh Ambani and his sons and daughters and his close relatives or shareholders, they sit and talk about the corporate strategy of Reliance as a group. But then Reliance have estate business, real estate business, Reliance has insurance business, Reliance has vehicle insurance, Reliance has Jio, Reliance has Reliance Fresh, Reliance has Reliance Trends, okay, Reliance has a textile business, Reliance has almost everything. But then when it comes to Reliance Trends, okay, you have to have a separate strategy. When it goes to Reliance Fresh, then the strategy has to be different. And when it goes to Jio, then the strategy has to be different. When it comes to real estate, it has to be different. When it comes to the textile industry or the manufacturing of textile, it has to be different. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that there is a group company called as Reliance, and Reliance has multiple kuti companies or small companies or chota companies. What happens is that when the topmost corporate level people sit and talk over a cup of coffee, they discuss about very, very, very big and ambitious things that they want to do with a far-sighted visionary or with so much of far-sightedness. They are looking a decade ahead. For example, within next 10 years, where should we be? Within the next 15 years, we should replace all the CCTV cameras. For example, if you and I are talking, okay, and you're telling me, ma'am, instead of CCTV cameras, why don't we have drones? Because if you fix CCTV cameras, it can only cover a particular area. But if we have drone, don't you think it would be an exciting way to cover the entire industrial area of Reliance, so that we can reduce the number of CCTV cameras, and we can install a lot of drones which is on the circle? Because have you seen many thrillers or many films where when you have a CCTV camera and then it is rotating, there is a downtime for a camera, because when the CCTV camera goes this side and then it takes again 5 seconds to come back, within that 5 seconds you can do some illegal activity or you can do some criminal activity. So to avoid that, okay, you come up with a recommendation to me that, ma'am, why don't we use drones instead of instead of these rotating CCTV cameras? Wouldn't it be a very great idea? If you ask me that, then I will see, okay, let me discuss this with other teammates. We'll definitely do this. If I'm doing this kind of conversation with you, then I'm called as a business level or functional level manager. But do you know what Mukesh Ambani will tell you when you suggest him that let's replace CCTV camera with that of drones? Let's replace CCTV camera with drones. What would he say? He'll say, oh, let's buy a satellite, man. Okay, let's buy a satellite. Let's have a local satellite for us. Okay, it will be watching over the entire Reliance industry 24/7. You don't have to buy drones and all that. Let's buy the satellite. Okay, if you own the satellite, what will happen? The satellite will have the picture, okay, like 24/7. Don't go to the, see, if you are in the CCTV level itself, you are called as a functional level manager. If you are talking about drones or you are talking about upgradation to that kind of level, like automation or robot or introducing robot in the place of something else, then you're talking about the divisional level or business level. When Mukesh Ambani is talking about, oh, let's have a satellite, let's have a exclusive satellite for our network, then that is called as corporate level. Do you understand? So first of all, when it comes to the competence, when it comes to the power, when it comes to the influence that I have on other people, okay, the corporate level people have the highest influence, power, competence, and they have the highest inclination towards taking the brand or taking the group company to a next level. So when it comes to corporate strategy is a different league altogether. Do you understand? When it comes to power, influence and all that. And the next level of power or influence comes to, for example, you are the CEO of Reliance Trends alone. Then your power is restricted to Reliance Trends alone or Reliance Fresh alone. You are not the group head of all the group companies, okay? You are not MD of the whole group. You are the MD of one particular business segment alone. Your segment is textile industry. You oversee only the textile department. And Jio is being given to Isha Ambani, which means Isha will take care of only the Jio. And within Jio, you have telemarketing, okay, you have to market it, okay, and then you have to increase the customer base, and then you have to do the customer support services, and then you have to have the conversion of other data cards or other SIM cards into Jio SIM card. You have different departments. Do you understand? So when we're talking about Reliance as a group, we call it as corporate. When we're talking about Trends, Fresh, Jio, textile industry, real estate business, okay, and we're talking about these things, then we're talking about the business level. Okay, and finally we have functional level. Functional level is like you're the head of customer support services for Jio. What do you mean by that? For example, my Jio SIM card is not working. So whom will I call? I'll call the support service. If support service is not giving me proper response, then I'll complain it to you because you are the head of the support services. You are the head of the customer support services. Like that, you have different divisions under one business. Do you understand? Now, among the three levels of strategy, which is the most important and critical one? Which is the most important and critical one? How many of you think that it is corporate level? How many of you think that it is corporate level which is most important, intense, critical, everything? And how many of you think, no ma'am, it's divisional or business level? Obviously it's not functional level. The most important thing is not the customer support service head. He is not going to be the most important personality. No, he is not. The competition is between corporate and divisional. What would be your take on this? Would you like to take corporate level or would you like to be the business level head? See, obviously, what would you like to be? Would you like to be Mukesh Ambani or would you like to be his nephew who is taking care of the Reliance Trends alone? If I put forth a question like this, what would you say? Oh, I would like to be Mukesh Ambani because he has so much of power, no? He has so much of power, influence and all that. So he has a lot of influence over all the group companies. So I want to be Mukesh. Everybody wants to be Mukesh. Who doesn't want to be him? Everybody wants to be him. But what's the problem here? Here we are not talking about who would you like to be. Here we are talking about which strategy is most important for the survival of business. For the survival of business, okay, for more profitable venture and for your longest survival or for your longevity, for making your positioning in the marketplace, which is most critical for every business. Okay, which is most critical for every business level. And that is why I have told you there is another word for divisional strategy. It is also called as business level, because if you see, if you're a businessman and if you have lots and lots of cash piled, okay, if you have a stockpile of cash, then obviously you can buy 100 companies. Who cares? You're the owner of all the 100 companies. But what it takes for the company to be a successful business venture. See, if I have money, I can become owner of 100 companies. But if I want every business that I have acquired to be successful, I need a strategy for every business individually. And when I craft a strategy for the whole group of businesses, I can't be specific, because what fits in for textile would not fit for Jio. What fits for Jio will not fit for the oil. What fits for the refinery sector of Reliance will not fit for the real estate or for the insurance business or vehicle insurance business. Which brings us to a question, then man, if corporate level strategies, it cannot be specific to every business and it cannot help you out with every business, then why the hell do you have a corporate strategy? Directly jump onto divisional strategy or directly jump onto business level strategy and then go to functional. Why the hell would you like to have a corporate strategy in the first place if it's not going to help you? See, of course we'll be having a product only if it is helpful to you, right? But then when I told you the business model is a critical one, then why do you have something called as corporate level strategy? See, it is like having the eldermost, or it is like having your grandfather at home. He may not contribute salary. He may not contribute much of the earnings to your family, but then he is like the pillar of the family. He has years and years of experience to offer you, and he has lots of business experience, lots of working experience, lots of personal experiences to share with you, and he is the legacy of the family. Do you understand? Like that, the corporate level strategy is an embodiment of the legacy of the whole group. The legacy of the whole group is being shouldered by corporate strategy. Even though it is not like your father is the breadwinner of the family. He brings in the salary, or he brings in the profit, or he brings in the money to run your family. Do you understand? So your father is like the business level, and your grandfather, okay, your abuji or your grandfather is like that corporate level strategy, because what your grandfather leaves behind is this legacy, and that legacy is taken up by you and your father, which means corporate level strategy is an embodiment of a company. What a company stands for, a company's virtue, a company's style statement, what a company stands for, what does it actually personalize, what is the personification of this company. That is the value statement that you want to make so louder into the market, into the people's mind. What am I to you? What am I standing for? What is my value statement? What value will I stand for? What value to the value that I attach myself with? So that is a corporate level strategy. So corporate level strategy will be like overall, it will be pragmatic, it will be covering all the sections, but it will not go into a deeper sense, but it will cover every business segment that it has, but on a shallow basis. Okay, it covers everything. It is like an umbrella. It is like an umbrella strategy. An umbrella strategy that covers every segment, but not in a minuter detail, but this business level strategy. Okay, it's like a father. You need 100 father to run every segment in a very well tuned way, in a very well refined way. Only then, like your father has to take a segment, my father has to take a segment. Like it's like a fatherly figure for every business segment. Only when a father runs the company in the utmost style statement, okay, he redefines the way in which the business is being done. And when it comes to functional strategy, it's like you and me. Your father says, okay, go and pay the EB bill. Okay, you pay the EB bill. Okay, it's like that. Your mother and father are the breadwinners of the family. So it's like your parent. Your parent is the business level. Grandparents are the corporate level. And you and I, okay, we become the functional levels where we do whatever we are told to do. But then what happens is that your father says that, okay, go and pay the EB bill. Okay, days are gone when we go to the office of electricity board and we stand in queues, we line up in the queues and then we paid the bill and then we came back. Now everything has turned into online. Nowadays what happens is that you get a reminder in the online, okay, in your phone, that what is your bill and all that. But then you've forgotten and then the line has been disconnected and then the electricity line has been disconnected because your father gave you 5,000 to pay for the electricity bill and he has transferred the money to you. And you even got a reminder in your mobile phone, okay, because your number is being registered, so you got the payment bill. But then you thought, okay, I'll pay it tomorrow. Then you totally forgotten. You need not go to the EB office to pay. You can pay it online, but then you have forgotten. So what do you do as a functional manager? You have a small journal or you have a small diary. You have a small notepad in your mobile. Okay, you want to set a reminder date because if you see that August 20th is the last day for paying the electricity bill, then you put a reminder on August 18th morning 9 o'clock in your mobile phone to remind you that you have to pay an EB bill. So if you do this, you will never ever miss the reminder. Okay, and so what can you do? You can avoid the disconnection of EB line to your home, right? So these small strategies that you do by setting a reminder, these are all called as functional level strategies. So why am I taking the example of a household to explain this? Why should I not take Walmart, Halls, Flipkart? Flipkart was the parent company of PhonePe. Now PhonePe is also being held by Walmart. So Walmart, Flipkart, PhonePe, these are all group companies. Okay, when it comes to the corporate level strategy, who designs the craft or who crafts the strategy of Walmart? That is the corporate level strategy. But what is the business model of Flipkart? What is the advertisement strategy for Flipkart? This is designed by the group of or board members for Flipkart exclusively, and that is called as business level strategy. And when it comes to functional level strategy, okay, you're raising complaints with Flipkart that you're not able to resend or you're not able to send the product that you bought because you have some problem or damaged goods you've received. You want to resend it, but there is no link provided for that. You are raising a complaint with Flipkart. Do you understand? So instead of explaining with Walmart or Flipkart, okay, or PhonePe, why did I choose to explain the concepts with the help of your grandfather, your father, and you? Because it's more comfortable for us to understand the emotions, or what is that we are trying to emote here. We are trying to emote a sense of responsibility. Corporate level strategy is responsible for all the group companies. It may be 192 group companies. For all the 192 group companies, you hold responsibility. That's like your grandfather. When it comes to excuse me, when it comes to the business level, it's like your father. He takes care of a particular section and he performs it well. And it's like your daddy, your uncle. You have 5 uncles and your daddy. Okay, and you have your mother and you have 6 aunties. So what happens is that the business is taken care of. Each and every segment is taken care of every person who is responsible for that segment. It's like having your parents for that. And then you at the end of the chain is there to provide departmental help here. If, for example, if you are in the sales department, your orientation, your focus, okay, is only on how to improve the sales. You will not think about where to purchase the raw material because that is not your department. Your department is to how to increase the sales. So your thought process will be completely devoted only to think about that. So these are the 3 levels of strategy. And next one, we're going to learn about the characteristic feature of a strategy. So these are all very simple, ma'am. See, when we're talking about the how do you emote a particular statement, how do you emote in the sense, how do you communicate, okay, how do you make others understand what you're trying to say, what you're trying to tell, which means I have a bigger thought process that I want to impose on you. I have a bigger thought process about strategy that I want to put it forward. But then these are all the important fine-tuned words that you should remember to write in the examination. What are those? No, it is proactive and reactive. What is a proactive? Generally, there is a question: would you like to be proactive or reactive? Okay. Um, Generally, when I'm talking about proactive, the short form called as pro, that is generally misunderstood, because when you have PRO is a short form for professional in many places. Are you a pro in playing table tennis? If somebody is asking you, are you a pro when it comes to table tennis? They are asking you, நீங்க ப்ரோவா அப்படின்னு, which means it's not proactive, it's professional. Are you in the professional level? Beginner level, advanced level, professional level. So generally pro is a shortened form of professional, but here pro would mean the short form of proactive. So generally put or generally understood, that I'm telling you there are two components. One is you can be a proactive leader, and then there is another section where you're called as reactive leader. Which one would you choose? Number one is the best thing that everybody will choose, because it's proactive, no? Before the problem comes, I'm giving the solution. And here, there is the other leader where when the problem comes, he gives the solution. Do you understand? See, for example, always our father is proactive, okay, and our mother is reactive, because our mother senses what has to be done for the particular situation. She senses it. She senses the situation, she goes through the situation alongside with you, and then she gives in custom made solution for you. If the same situation happens to your sister, the solution is different from your mother. She would give a different solution. If you are faced with the same problem, you will get a different solution, because your mother knows who you are and who your sister is. So the solution for you will be different from the solution that she wants to give for your sister. So this is the custom made solution that your mother offers to you and your sister. But then what your father does is that your father always even a father like role always tells us, avoid this, avoid that, don't go here, don't go there, okay, and take all the precautionary efforts so as to, okay, don't get stranded somewhere, don't get bootstrapped somewhere, okay, don't get yourself into an isolated place, or don't get yourself with a group full of strangers. Don't do that. So this is what we're trying to say: proactive leader and reactive leader. Here we have, do you like father or mother? Who do you like so much? Okay, I like my mother so much. It's not because she's reactive or proactive. No, not on that base. I personally like my mother so much. She's like the person that I adore, admire, inspire, everything. Okay, so my favorite is my mother. Not that father is any lesser than, like, mother figure, but then I have so much close affinity towards my mom. But then what's your take on this? You don't have to, so you have two options, like you have two chances to say. One is on the note of whether you like your mom or dad more, okay, on a personal note, who's very close to you. Obviously the person who spends a lot of time with us, the person who spends a lot of, who talks more to us and who does more to us, is always so is always so affectionate, and who is always so very, I would say, pet to us. Yes, she's very closer. And for some, obviously father figure is more prominent for you. That is one thing, personal thing. And I really would like to know who's your favorite, mom or dad. Every one of you who is attending the classes, I really would love to know who's your favorite, mom or dad. And if we meet ever, like in person, I would really like to know, why do you like your mom so much, or why do you like your father so much, and what is the reason behind your liking. And I would really like to share all those things, okay. But now the second chance given to you is to choose whether you like a proactive leader or reactive leader, okay. Generally the answer is proactive, because who doesn't like a father, okay, who gives you the solution even before the problem props up. I'll tell you one incident in my life. Once my father told me that I was riding a bike, okay, I was riding a bike to the school. I did not get my LLR, that is, I did not have my license, but then I got my bike because of my adamancy. That is not at all recommended, okay, but I did have so much of adamancy, and I got my bike, okay, for my +2. I got it, and I went to my school on my public examination, that is the board examinations, okay, right, for the board examinations. I went to the school only in bike, okay. My mother said, no, you don't have to take the bike, because it's riskier. It's better that you take a bus or you take a cycle, you take something. But then I I just planned that no, I will only take the bike. Okay. What my father did was, my father said, you don't have a license. Okay. So when you're traveling to your school, you definitely have two checkposts. And then you're driving to your school with your school uniform. Do you think the traffic police will let you go? No, they will not let you go. So when you're taking the bike to your school, and then there are two checkposts, normally they won't check, but then if at all you're rash driving, or if at all they don't have a good mood, they will stop you and they'll ask you where are you going, and they'll ask you your license and everything. So since you're going on your board examinations, you're taking the bike, be very careful. If any of the police is going to stop you in the checkpost, then just leave the bike to them and tell them you have board exam. You don't mind leaving the bike to them, you don't mind giving the money that you have, all you mind is to take your examination. And since your house is 7 kilometers away from the examination hall, and since your father is out of town, and since you haven't applied for the LLR because of so many reasons and all that, you don't have the license, and you don't have father to drop you, and you don't have a straight bus from your house, or from your house, from your bus stop that's nearby your house to the examination spot. You don't have any of these things, and that is the only reason why you took the bike to examination hall. So this is the reason my father customized. He pre-written the reason in my mind even before I took the bike to the examination hall. So when I rode the bike for the exam, okay, exactly on my third day of exam, obviously the police stopped the bike. What happened was, it was so expected. It was so expected. The questions were so expected, and so the answers are okay. I had the ready-made answers. Imagine if this situation has happened. If the situation had happened without any preparation, without any precautionary measures, then what would have happened? Then I would have to react, or I would have reacted only the way that I was having. Whatever thinking that popped up in my mind, that I would have blabbered to the police, then definitely the outcome must have been different. But here the police stopped me, then I was not at all panicked because I know what to do. And the questions were so expected. First question, are you overrating or underrating? Have you failed 12 or 2 or 3 times? Why are you driving it in your uniform? My answer is no, I'm underrating. Do you have LLR? No, I don't have LLR. Okay, but I have to keep a serious face, and I have to tell no, I don't have an LLR. Number 3, they'll ask, then why the hell do you ride a bike? Don't your parents have any responsibility? Why are they letting you ride a bike? Are they careless parents? Okay, don't they have any other work to do? That is what's the third question. Yes, that also they asked. Fourth, tell me the reason. Why are you riding it? Because to a student, they will not ask money, right? They won't ask money right away to a school-going student. So obviously the fourth question is, tell me, what is the reason for you to ride bike? Then I just blabbered everything I have mugged up that my father has told me. And then he said, oh my god, you're going to board exam, stupid, you should have told me this, upfront, you must have told this, no? Why are you so late in telling me this? You're going to board examination. Okay, right, go. This was the reaction from the cop, which means when you are already prepared for a situation because you know or you expect that situation might come up, then your answer or then your outcome or then your response is much more automatic or more spontaneous. But then we are not prepared because that situation is totally unexpected. Because for example, when I ride a bike, okay, to my examination hall, I can expect that the police will stop me. Can you expect, or can you in the wildest dream expect that I will run out of petrol? No, because I must have taken so much of care to fill in the petrol. But imagine somebody has robbed the petrol of my bike, and when I took my bike, I did not set my concentration on whether I have petrol or not, because only yesterday my father filled the tank. So I just went, but there's no petrol on the way, and then the bike stopped. Now what will I do? This is completely unexpected situation. Do you think this will ever happen? No, this will also happen. Because what I did was, during the same, in my, just few years back, what happened was, I was taking the bike, okay, and I filled in the petrol on the previous day, and on the day of the big event, I was taking the bike. What happened was it stopped midway. Okay, it ran out of petrol, and I was totally flustered because I had to be there on time. I cannot give any excuses because it's not like I'm a student. I can go late. No, it's like I'm one of the main event holders, so I have to be there. But I was not prepared for this kind of a situation because I ran out of petrol, and the petrol bunk is at least half a kilometer from there. So I have to just pull it through. So what happened there, because right on the previous day, okay, when I filled in the petrol, I wanted to check whether the brakes are working good and everything is in the proper condition because I have to drive 50 kilometers. So what I did was I just gave it to the mechanic to just check if everything's okay. I don't know what happened there, but my petrol was gone. Whether it's the mechanic or it's somebody else, or even the mechanic was, has been what? Even he has like what? Even he has no knowledge about how the petrol has been taken away. No, whatever might have happened, either it's mechanic or somebody has pulled a prank on mechanic. Whatever happened on the day of the event, there was no petrol. So this is an unexpected event on the day of a very big ceremony. So what will I do? I can't say, oh my God, this is a completely unexpected event. My father has not taught any solution for this. No, I will not take up the action at all. I will not respond to this. No, you can't make it because it is a situation that you have to face. You can't run away. Okay? You can't just pass on the responsibility to somebody else because there is nobody else. It's just you and your bike and the highway lane and a petrol bunk which is half a kilometer or 1 kilometer away from you. You have to take a call. You have to take a call that what are you going to do? Are you going to phone a friend or you're going to pull it through, okay, to the petrol bunk? What are you going to do? So this is the reactive strategy, which means even though I'm like the God molecule, even though I'm a God-like figure, I cannot expect everything, okay? I can only make the probabilities or permutations and combinations of what might happen if a schooler is taking a bike, okay? If a school student is taking a bike to the board examination, what might happen on the way to the school for 8 days of examination or for 9 days of examination she has to go. On these 9 days, these are all the expected scenarios that might pop up. So she has to respond. So these are all the preparations that she has to do. You can do that. But there are situations where you might be stranded without any precursor, because there is no precursor notion to tell you that you will run out of petrol. So as a business also, see, as a business component or as a business segment or as a business group, you should be both proactive and reactive. You can't say that I want to be a proactive leader. Then what will you do when an unexpected situation comes? You have to adapt to it. You have to customize. You have to be flexible. You have to weave yourself through those unexpected situations. You have to do all these things in order to become successful. So it is equally important for you to be proactive and reactive as well. Proactive is like 70% of it, but reactive is 30% of it. But you can never say which is 70% and which is 30%, because right before COVID, okay, if you have thought about the tourism business, yes, of course, right before COVID, tourism business was booming because in India, there is a large class of people who are entering into the first time employment, first time graduation, and there are a lot of middle class population, middle class income groups emanating or booming in Indian economy. So obviously tourism business would definitely be a golden hatch. But then what happened? Once you have bought a tourism company and you've started the tourism company, you have given the advertisements, you have designed a logo, you've incorporated your business, okay? You have started your business. But then what happened? What happened was there was COVID and there was lockdowns after lockdowns, and what will happen to your business? Do you understand? Which means there are certain situations that you can expect, but there are always certain ways, but there are always certain situations that you can never ever expect. For those unexpected scenarios, for those unanticipated or completely out of the way scenarios, you have to be able to respond. அந்த மாதிரி ரெஸ்பாண்ட் பண்ணக்கூடிய சுச்சுவேஷன்ஸ்க்கு பேர் தான் ரியாக்ஷன். ஸோ ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி இது நான் ஏன் இவ்வளோ தூரம் ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக சொல்கிறேன்னா, எக்ஸாமில் கொஷின் நமக்கு சாப்டர் 1லேருந்து வர எல்லா கொஷின்ஸ்க்குமே நம்ம ஸ்டாண்டர்டாக எழுதக்கூடிய ப்ரோட்டோகால் என்னன்னா, இந்த ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிஸ் ப்ரோஆக்டிவ் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி கிவ் யூ ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி. அங்கே ஒரு ஸ்வீட் கடை இருந்துச்சு. ஸ்வீட் கடைக்காரர் என்ன பண்ணாருன்னா, அவர் பாடி ஜாலியாக பிஸ்னஸ் ரன் பண்ணிட்டு இருந்தாரு. திடீர்னு பார்த்தா பக்கத்தில் சாக்லேட் கடை வந்துருச்சு. What happened? There was a sweet stall, conventional sweet stall, and all of a sudden there is this Cadbury's cafe, where there is all kinds of chocolates made, and it is exactly right next to you. What will happen to you? You never thought that a Cadbury's cafe will be placed right next to you. So what will you do now? This is the question. So what you should know, you should write that, oh my god, this conventional sweet stall owner is a stupid. He did not expect something coming. So he did not have any proactive strategy at all. Now, coming to reactive strategy. Now he has to take something, no? He has to respond. What is his response? Although chocolate is more famous among the young people, you have to understand that samosa, taste of samosa cannot be beaten by a pizza. Why? Because it is so close to the heart. It is a desi food, or I would say parota. It is a desi food, ma. You can't compare pizza and parota. You can't compare a fried rice with biryani. Something like that. You always have a conventional thing, traditional thing, so close to you. It's my blood to know, something like that. So what happens is that this traditional food stall owner, what he does is, he is making a sweet, conventional sweet that runs in the bloodline of every Rajasthani, or that runs in the bloodline of every Maharashtrian. Which means there is something so special about the traditional sweet stall, because your grandfather must have eaten there, and your father must have eaten there, and you are also eating there, which means you have that kind of nostalgic effect with that sweet shop. Whereas Cadbury, you have that effect of advertisement alone, nothing more, nothing less. But then with traditional sweet stall, you have that age-old connection of your legacy of the father, of the grandfather of you. அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது நம்ம லெகசிலாம் இருக்கும்போது, the sweet stall owner is coming up with an idea of recreating some food, or recreating some recipe which runs in your family. Which is a very favorite recipe for your grandfather, for your father, and for you. Something like that. Tamil Nadu enna irukku? Idli. If somebody is talking ill about idli, I will kill them, because idli is such a good food. Okay? Even if you have toothache, you can eat idli. Okay? Even if you have indigestion, you can eat idli. Okay? Even if you have ulcer, you can eat idli. Which means, whatever may be the situation, you can eat idli. It is easily digestible. Okay? You can even give the idli to a 4-month or 5-month-old child. I've seen many parents, okay, giving their 5th month or 6th month will start. For the 6th month child, baby, they'll give idli. Yeah, you can digest it. You can't give a pizza. You can't give a bun. You can't give a maida product to a child. You can give rice and uridal. Yes, you can give. So idli is like idli has a close affinity towards Tamil Nadu. Have you seen a tweet about idli? Okay, Shashi Tharoor, the MP, okay, Kerala MP, okay, from Congress, he tweeted about idli. He just defended that idli is the best thing that could happen, because one of the foreigner has written that idli is the dumbest food. He tweeted in the Twitter, one of the foreigners, okay, an influencer, of course, he tweeted that idli is the dumbest food, and Shashi Tharoor, he said, he defended that idli is the best food, and idli can have 100 combos, 100 side dishes. And Shashi Tharoor defended idli. And if you do not know Shashi Tharoor as yet, you should definitely check out who Shashi Tharoor is, because he has that clipped accent, he has that British accent for English, and nobody can imitate him. And you could hear, or you could listen to him speaking English like even for 2 hours, because he has that kind of aura, for not just for English, for his thought process, for his connection towards that UN, everything. Okay, that's a separate part. But what are we discussing here? We're discussing about the proactive and reactive strategy. And proactive, as I told you, proactive is a planned strategy. Okay, proactive is a planned strategy. And you have what? You have to improve the company's market position. Okay, you have to improve the company's market position and financial performance. Plan planned though. Everything is planned. When it comes to proactive, it's a planned thing. You already pre-design what you have to do if you're being stopped by a cop. Okay, that cop na another traffic police. And then next one, it's a reaction to unanticipated developments, and that is also called as adaptive reaction. Okay, these are the two keywords, ma. Reactions and adaptive reaction. You're reacting to a situation because you're not yet prepared, so you have to react to it. And how do you react? You have to adapt to the situation, and then you have to react. And that is what is going here. Because there is always a fresh circumstance that comes into effect, just like the COVID situation. In December 2019, COVID erupted. But then India was very happy then because we did not even know that kind of a thing was going around. Okay, but exactly in the month of March 2020, we finally got a hit on our head that yes, there is something called as COVID and it's going to come to India, so be alert. So that kind of alert call Indians got only in the 2020 March, but UAE countries and other European and Western countries got the hit in December 2019 itself. So that's why. So anyway, even if you are 100% planned, even if you're 100% very, very, very meticulously you are planning something, you will never leave out even a single detail. You have everything, written and documented. At sometimes you will be faced with some unexpected situation. அந்த மாதிரி அன்எக்ஸ்பெக்டட் சிச்சுவேஷன் வரும்பொழுது, அன்ஆன்டிசிபேட்டட் டெவலப்மெண்ட்ஸ் இந்த பிஸ்னஸ் வரும்பொழுது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக நம்ம என்ன செய்யணுமா, நம்ம ரியாக்ஷன் தான் கொடுக்க முடியும். அப்போ போய் ஐயோ நான் பிளான் பண்ணலைன்னு அழ முடியாது. யூ ஹாவ் டு ரியாக்ட்னு சொல்றாங்க. இப்போ இந்த ப்ரோஆக்டிவ் ரியாக்டிவ் இந்த ரெண்டு தான் கீவேர்ட்ஸ். இந்த ரெண்டு கீவேர்ட்ஸை எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் பண்றதுக்கு நம்ம வந்து என்ன, இட்ஸ் லைக் அ க்ரௌன். யூ ஹேவ் அ க்ரௌன். க்ரௌனோட பேர் என்ன, ப்ரோஆக்டிவ் ரியாக்டிவ். இந்த ப்ரோஆக்டிவ் ரியாக்டிவ் க்ரௌனுக்கு யூ ஹாவ் டு புட் சம் நிறைய ஜொலிக்கிற சர்ப்ரைஸ் மாதிரி ஜொலிக்கிறது நிறைய போடணும்ல. ஸோ யூ வாண்ட் டு ஹேவ் சம் அதே you want to have some embellished stones that you want to put on your crown. So in the crown la ennalam podlam appadina, these are the words you can use to explain the proactive and reactive strategies. What are the key words here? Uncertain business environment. நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம், business atmosphere. ஓகேவா, business atmosphere சொல்றோம். அவங்க சொல்றோம் business environment. See the usage. I say business atmosphere, I say business ambience or something like that, and they say it's business environment. Adudha the word. Uncertain, yes, uncertain. And then if you want your business to continue properly without any damage, merit continuation. என்ன சொல்றாங்க, if you want your business to continue without any damage, okay, you have to do these things. Which means in a simple word to say, if you want to have the merit continuation, what do you mean by merit continuation? Merit continuation is a word which you use to communicate that the business wants to run without any hassle, without any hurdle, without any damage, without any demerit. And that is what is called as merit continuation. This is a word you can use. And then deliberate, intentional. Did you do that on an intentional? Oh, you need intentional பண்ணிருக்க. Okay, you did that on intention. You have an intention to hurt me, and that is why you're doing this. Intention சொல்லுவோம். What are they trying to say? அதுக்கே என்ன word use பண்றாங்க? They say deliberately, pre-calculative. You did that on a pre-calculative basis. You did that on a deliberate mode. So deliberation or deliberate is what? So deliberate is, it is a pre-calculated, okay, well thought out, planned progress. That is called as deliberate and proactive. Standing as the product of management's analysis. Obviously, proactive plan, proactive strategy is always a strategy which is an output of what the board of directors think about their business and the market. See, for example, if I think there is a problem in the future, or I think that there is a problem in the real future, then what I would do, I will always have a cautious approach. Which means, if my proactive strategy is to be cautious, then what does that mean? Then that means that the board of director already knows that there is a problem in the market, and that is why the strategy or the proactive strategy is very, very, very cautious. Which means, when my strategy is cautious, when my proactive strategy is cautious, it means to tell you that I'm already aware of a certain situation. And that is why they're telling you, proactive strategy is a standing product. It is a product. Proactive strategy is a product which tells you that the management analysis is the behind the screens. The management has analyzed the situation, and as a result of management analysis, interpretation, evaluation, thought process, you got a product, and that product is called as proactive strategy. So proactive strategy is nothing but the result of our deliberation, our discussion, okay, our pre-calculation, our analysis, our interpretation, our evaluation. என்ன வேணா சொல்லிக்கலாம். இதெல்லாம் நாங்கள் செஞ்சதுனால தான் இந்த பிளான் உங்களுக்கு கிடச்சதுன்னா திஸ் கால்ட் அஸ் ப்ரோஆக்டிவ். அப்புறம் பையர்ஸ் பேட்டர்னேஜ் நம்ம என்ன சொல்லுவோம், கஸ்டமரோட ப்ரிஃபரன்ஸ்னு சொல்லுவோம். பிகாஸ் நம்ம எக்கனாமிக்ஸ் படிச்சிருக்கோம்ல, டேஸ்ட் அண்ட் ப்ரிஃபரன்சஸ் ஆஃப் கஸ்டமர் சொல்லுவோம். ஆனால் இப்போ நமக்கு என்ன வேணும், பிராண்ட் வேல்யூன்னு சொல்லலாம். அவங்க என்ன சொல்லியிருக்காங்க, பட் தேர் நாட் டாக்கிங் அபவுட் பிராண்ட் வேல்யூ, தேர் டாக்கிங் அபவுட் பையர்ஸ் பேட்டர்னேஜ். What do you mean by buyer's patronage? Buyer's patronage is nothing but brand value. For example, I'm buying a salt. Okay. Just to we have to buy salt. Invariably, I'm only buying Tata salt. I don't know why. There is Ashirwad salt. Okay, that is what we do. Like, we buy only salt in Amazon. We don't have any local buyers, local sellers who are selling salt in the Amazon. Since we cannot, go to the local sellers, we're not able to buy the local products. So we are buying only from Amazon. So from Amazon, if I scroll down, what happens is that I see Ashirwad salt, I see Tata salt. I can also see some other salt. Patanjali got salt. But what I do is I only buy Tata. Why? Because I have this innate feeling of connectivity, of brand loyalty towards Tata. If I want to buy gold, I go to Tanishq. Okay? And whatever I want to do, I always end up with Tata. Why? Because I always have a loyalty towards Tata, because Tata is very, very, very sound in telling you. It's very louder. It's very, 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 it's very vibrant in telling you that it stands for the customers, it stands for its employees, it stands for every human resource it is associated with. It doesn't target only on profit, it is also targeting on the humanitarian basis, and that is what that is what is capturing the hearts of millions of people. So when it comes to salt, Reliance salt could introduce pandranga. What will we do? We'll stick on to Tata salt. Now he'll put forth the question to me, ma'am, Jio introduced a SIM card and Airtel was also there at the time. But then Jio, what it did was it gave the services at a very, very, very undervalued price, or at free of cost they gave. So what happened? Lot of Airtel customers, lot of Aircel customers, or Idea, Vodafone, every customer switched to Jio. Do you think people have any brand value? People don't have any brand value at all, madam. People only think which is lower in cost, they'll go to that. That's what they do, ma'am. Yes, of course they do, but at what cost? If the cost of Tata salt is 20 and cost of Patanjali salt is 18, I promise you I'll buy only Tata salt. If the cost of Tata salt is 20 and Patanjali salt is just 7 rupees, even then I'll go to Tata. Why? Because my brand loyalty is so unshakable. One reason is that I'm so loyal to Tata, and the other reason is I know that the business etiquette of Patanjali is not something to be boasting about. It's not something that is to be, patronized with. I don't like it. So, and that is why whenever something comes out of Patanjali, I don't buy. See, they sell you aloe vera gel. The aloe vera gel is in green color. And if you have by any chance aloe vera in your home, go pick a aloe vera, cut it and take the gel and see, it is colorless and transparent. You go to Patanjali store and buy the aloe vera gel, it is green color. Soundarya gel, yellow color. Do you understand? Which means they are trying to fool us in certain consumer products which you are going to apply in your face. In your face you are going to apply, and that has green color. I am so shocked, man. What are you? Daddy wala, what are you putting in the aloe vera gel to make it, greener? Are you crushing the whole plant to give us the gel, or are you taking the real gel inside the plant or the intravenous plant? If you're taking just the gel alone, it has to be transparent and colorless gel. But then you're giving me a very, very, very bright green color. I'm so done with you, man. What are you doing? And what about Ruchi Soya? Did you take, Patanjali acquired Ruchi Soya. okay, which was a loss-making company. Okay, Ruchi Soya is a loss-making company. And do you know what is the recent news? News is that Ruchi Soya is a loss-making company. So it went into bankruptcy, indebted mode or something like that. So Patanjali bought Ruchi Soya for a very, very, very low price. Okay, and you know what happened 6 months later? Ruchi Soya bought Patanjali's business. And I was so awestruck, man. 6 months back, Ruchi Soya, you were like a handicapped, or you were like an injured person who was not able to stand up on his own. So Patanjali lifted you, and now Ruchi Soya is lifting Patanjali's business. What is happening here? So when I come to know about the business ethics of Patanjali, I would dare say I would not go to FMCGs that is being produced by Patanjali at all. I will stick to Tata, because that's the legacy of Tata. If you see, ma'am, Jio is also having SIM card, Airtel is also SIM card. Which one do you choose? Of course, majority have chosen SIM card for Jio, but then there is also a classy population who knows about the market, who knows about the brand loyalty, who knows about the Airtel, who knows about the services provided by Airtel and Jio, who knows about the hidden intentions of Jio. They have always sticked on to Airtel, and they say, no matter what, I will be loyal to Airtel, I will have only Airtel service. And do you know what happened? Many of the customers who are in their plus 35 plus age, and who is in that upper middle class or elite background, they never switched to Jio. They stuck to Airtel because of the brand loyalty that they had with Airtel. Now, it's not the matter of whether every customer is sticking to you. It's about, if you want to make profit, you need at least 100 customers. And if you have earned the brand loyalty with at least 100 customers, then you're good to go. So that is the tactic here. It's not about, see, for example, I use Jio, you use Jio, he uses Jio, she uses Jio. But do you think all the four of us are very loyal to Jio? No. We are with the Jio only because it is cheaper, not because we have some close affinity relationship with Jio. Just like that. So what do you mean by bias patronage? Patronage is like you're having that kind of what? Patriotic feeling, okay? That is called as the patronage towards a particular product. So when you earn the buyer's patronage, you're talking about the brand value. And then what's the next word? You have the unexpected turn, unexpected event, unexpected situation, unexpected unexpected circumstances. What we talk, they say unexpected turn. And when you're turning, if your turning has a very big rock wall, you're hitting hard against it. What does it give you? You're hitting against a hard stoned wall. அந்த மாதிரி சில phrases-லாம் இங்க கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Hits a stone wall. And then strategic reaction. Okay, you're talking about the reactive strategy, and they're talking about the strategic reaction. Reactive strategy would mean the strategy that you have designed is a reactive one. That is called as reactive strategy. But what do you mean by strategic reaction? The way in which you are going to react has to be a strategically planned one. Other minds like this, கருப்பா பயங்கரமா இருக்காரு, பயங்கர கருப்பா இருக்காரு, அந்த மாதிரி. It's like it totally differs. பயங்கர கருப்பா இருக்காங்க அப்படிங்கிறது, he is extremely dark in complexion. That's all. That doesn't mean he is it's not racist. This is not about racism. It is completely not that. I'm just trying to make an example. Okay, I am not a racist. Okay, I'm just trying to tell you. Okay, please சொல்லலாமா? பயங்கர வெள்ளையா இருக்காங்க, அது ஒன்று. வெள்ளையா பயங்கரமா இருக்காங்க. இது என்னன்னா, பயங்கர வெள்ளையா இருக்காங்கன்னா she is very fair complexion, அந்த மாதிரி. வெள்ளையா பயங்கரமா இருக்காங்கன்னா வெள்ளையா பூதமா இருக்காங்கன்னு அர்த்தம். அந்த மாதிரி தான், ஒரே வார்த்தை தான். பயங்கர வெள்ளைனா ஹைலி கலர்ட், அந்த மாதிரி செம்ம ஹை காம்ப்ளெக்ஷன், ஒயிட் காம்ப்ளெக்ஷன், ஃபேர் காம்ப்ளெக்ஷன். பயங்கர வெள்ளை இஸ் தட். வெள்ளையா பட் பயங்கரமா இருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு என்ன அர்த்தம் அப்படின்னா, ஷீ இஸ் ஒயிட் பட் that voice is a ghostly white, and that is actually threatening you கூட இல்ல, it is actually making you off the grid. அதை மட்டும் நீ பார்த்த, you will be off the grid. Oh my god, that's something like that. Okay, that's kind of a shocking reaction. அதுதான் பயங்கர வெள்ளையா இருக்காங்க. It's like, okay, that's a statement. வெள்ளையா பயங்கரமா இருக்காங்க, it's an emotion, something. So reactive strategy would mean strategy that you have taken up as a reaction. That is called as reactive strategy. Strategic reaction means your reaction should be professional, your reaction should be analytical, your reaction should be rational, your reaction should be something out of the world. That is called as strategic reaction. And then you have reasoned response. Reasoned response, so your response should have some reasoning, rationality, something like that. Okay? Reasoned response, unanticipated, unexpected, uncertain, unforeseen developments. Unforeseen. And then evaluation. Okay, and then you have, here they are trying to tell you. See, once you adopt a strategy, that is proactive strategy, and you're going on with the proactive strategy, you always have to make some adjustments, because whatever you thought out or whatever you predicted cannot happen exactly 100% ditto blueprint, nothing. No, that cannot happen. Always there is a difference from your prediction. If your prediction and the happening is 100% correct, then something is weird, man. Then something is weird. If you are predicting and that is happening to the extent of 70 to 80%, then you are a genius. You have an ultimate abundance of intelligence, and that is why it's possible. There's something, okay, but you're predicting something and it's happening like word to word, sentence to sentence, or circumstance to circumstance. Everything is being replicated. Then something is drifting. Okay, so என்ன சொல்ல வரோம்? அங்கங்க போய் கடைசில இங்க விட்டமே என்ன சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தோம்? We already have a proactive strategy and we implement it, but at the end of the day you have to do some adjustments. Why should you do some adjustments? Because there is always some fresh circumstance, fresh problem arises which you have never expected, never foreseen that. So you have to do some adjustments. It's not just that, man. It's not just that there is a fresh problem and that is why I'm going to react to it or adapt to it. No, it's not just that. Once I implement the proactive strategy, sometimes few parts of the strategy might work out well and few parts of the strategy might be a failure. Wherever my strategy has not gone well, I have to correct it, rectify it. When I'm correcting the original strategy, when I'm correcting the proactive strategy, and when I'm rectifying my failed components of my proactive strategy, okay, what should I do? I have to design a reactive strategy which will work well. So, why should I react? Reason number one is that there are fresh situations that is asking you to react, for which you did not have any planned response. That is one reason. The second reason is, even though there is no fresh circumstance, the original strategy that you designed, that has some flaw. Since it has some flaw, you have to rectify it. So when you're rectifying it, it is called as adaptive strategy. Okay? With this, we are coming to the end of the session, and this session has taught you about two types of strategy, proactive and reactive. And I've also taught you about what do you mean by three different levels of strategy, and that is corporate, divisional and functional. Okay, thank you so much for your patience listening. Okay, thank you so much for your patience listening, and I hope this class is educative and equally entertaining as well, because unentertaining contents doesn't sell well in the market. So in the next class, in the next session, I'll talk to you about Bharat Pay, Phone Pay and Grammarly and some other companies that I promised you. Okay, I'll definitely talk about certain case studies, but then I'll make sure that case studies has a very, very, very direct link with some of the most strategically important chapters with our syllabus. Okay, thank you so much for the class today. Thank you so much for your patience. If you have any doubt, if you have any comment, complaint or appreciation, please do write to me. My email ID is priyag.econ@gmail.com, because I'm basically an economics professor, but my love for strategic management has outgrown everything, and so I have started to talk more about strategy in businesses nowadays. So my email ID is again priyag.econ@gmail.com, or if you're not a person who can write, you can only chat with me. You can chat with me on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is 9677 590 232. Okay, have a great day. I'll see you in the next class. Bye.